The province has the highest rate of new COVID infections in the country.
Tonight, Canada's COVID hotspots are cooling off, except for Manitoba.
Overdose deaths have been obviously like a huge problem for years.
The Friendship Centre in Regina opens up a safe injection site to prevent street drug overdoses.
We'll be having a big rally for our brother Ethan Bear, for no racism, and to show our love and support.
And the Jets sweep the Oilers 4 straight, and a few Edmonton fans blame Ethan Bear. Good evening. Welcome to APTN National News. I'm Melissa Regina. Indigenous Services gave an update today on how vaccinations are going across the country. And although Indigenous communities are getting vaccinated at a higher rate than the rest of the country, Jamie Pashagumskum reports that there's still areas causing concern.
Indigenous Services Minister Mark Miller said certain parts of Ontario continue to be ravaged by the pandemic, but of most concern is Manitoba.
The province has the highest rate of new COVID infections in the country. This is putting a significant strain on the healthcare resources. Officials are encouraging everyone to stay home as much as possible to limit potential exposure to the virus and to get vaccinated.
With questions surrounding Moderna vaccine deliveries, the feds say they are encouraged by the changes of storage requirements for the Pfizer vaccine, which will make it easier to transport to remote communities.
Is really a game changer because it offers, the vaccine to be able to store it, unlike before, as you remember, that it had to be stored in a minus 80 freezer, for the duration of the vaccine. And now Pfizer can be stored in a regular vaccine fridge at 2 to 8 degrees Celsius, so much easier. And that's, the kind of refrigerator that you can find in the north as well as in the south.
So far, Indigenous Services says 75% of Indigenous adults in the country have gotten a first dose of the vaccine, and this has helped to reduce infections across the map.
I'm encouraged to see the overall number of cases dropping as the vaccination rates increase. However, the pandemic is not yet behind us. I want to again congratulate all Indigenous leaders, healthcare workers, and communities who have taken part in the vaccination effort and played such crucial roles in making those more positive numbers a reality. We're doing much better now than at other points during this crisis, and in order to keep this momentum, we must remain vigilant.
As of May 25th, there are 741 active COVID-19 cases in First Nations communities across Canada. While the numbers are improving, people in high-risk areas still need to stay home and adhere to strict public safety measures. Jamie Pashagumskum, APTN National News, Ottawa.
Thanks, Jamie. We want to hear what you think about how the pandemic is being handled in your region with vaccines, restrictions. If you've got something that you want to say, here's how. You can send your emails to news@aptn.ca. You can leave a comment on aptnnews.ca. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and now TikTok. Follow APTN News to join the conversation and see our latest stories. On Vancouver Island, the battle over old-growth logging continues, and more protesters have been arrested. But on Thursday, a large group of seniors, mostly from the Victoria area, joined the blockades, ready to be arrested to send a message to the BC government. An RCMP statement on Monday said 53 people have been arrested for breaching the court injunction that allows Teal Jones to operate. Yesterday, an image of a massive old-growth tree traveling down the highway went viral. At the same time, a group of over 75 seniors, known as the Elders for Ancient Trees, joined the protest. Duncan Robertson is a retired teacher. He marched with the group to the blockade site, but said no arrests occurred, though he added that he's willing to be if that helps save the old-growth forest.
We've seen all kinds of misleading information and inaction coming from the NDP government about the whole point of at-risk forest protection, which they promised. So I'm personally really, when somebody promises that they're going to do something and then they don't, that kind of gets me kind of upset, and I just can't sit on my backside and not really do something.
Saskatchewan now has 2 safe injection sites. One up in Saskatoon has been running since last fall. The other has now opened this week in Regina. The new Nuo-Diotina Friendship Centre that runs the safe injection site Monday to Friday from 9 till 4 The centre will be funded by the provincial government until September, and then after that, they would need to find some community funding. This is the first Indigenous organization to operate an overdose prevention site in Western Canada. Michael Parker, the executive director of the centre, says that overdoses have been on the rise in Regina even before the pandemic.
Overdose deaths have been obviously like a huge problem for years, and really the upward trend has actually started a couple of years ago, and it was starting to ramp up just before the pandemic.
We need to go to a commercial break, but when we come back, offside reaction to the Edmonton Oilers getting trounced by the Winnipeg Jets.
It don't matter what race you are, where you come from, or who you are. There is absolutely no room for it.
Welcome back. After being swept by the Winnipeg Jets in the first round of the NHL playoffs, Edmonton Oilers defenseman Ethan Bear has been attacked online by angry fans, and his girlfriend says that he's received racist comments and memes. But there's a huge crush of support for the defenseman. APTN's Chris Stewart has more.
The Oilers lost to the Jets in 4 straight games. Top players were stopped by good defense and better goaltending. Mistakes were made. Ethan Bear turned the puck over in Game 4, resulting in a third-period Jets goal. The Oilers lost in triple overtime, and some people took the loss out on Ethan Bear, and according to his girlfriend, with racial insults. She posted that Bear has received several racist messages and comments online. Reaction to this has been quick. Several people defended Bear online, and Oilers superfan Magoo says racism needs to go.
It don't matter what race you are, where you come from, or who you are. There is absolutely no room for it in hockey, in any sport, or in anything in this world for any type of racism whatsoever. Especially to our brother, number 74, Ethan Muskwa Bear, who plays his heart out, who is a role model, who the people look up to.
Philip Paul Martin is the editor-in-chief at the Native Hockey News. He says superstar Connor McDavid turned over the game-winning overtime goal, but he got a pass, while Ethan Bear didn't.
Just as the way Bear turned over the puck, so too did McDavid. But nobody questions his ancestry or the fact that he's, where he comes from and the core of his being. He just made a bad play.
This afternoon, Oilers general manager spoke to the media at the end-of-the-year conference. He says he was just informed of the situation.
Totally uncalled for, totally unacceptable. It's disgusting. There's no place in our world for racism.
Holland says he will talk to Bear today.
I feel sick for him and feel disappointed for him that he would get this kind of abuse. It's unacceptable. And obviously we all have to continue to work at every level to continue to think we've made strides, but there's a long way to go.
There will be an anti-racism rally on Saturday in support of Bear.
Rally outside Rogers Place here in Edmonton, Alberta from 3 to 7 p.m. Superfan Magoo and Don Burnstick will be having a big rally for our brother Ethan Bear, for no racism, and to show our love and support for the brother.
Chris Stewart, APTN National News, Edmonton.
Everybody here at APTN loves you, Ethan. We got your back. Well, we need to take another break, but when we come back, a drive-in movie theater on an Alberta First Nation is staying open despite the province wanting it shut down for COVID.
We've been through this before, the pandemics within our communities. And we know best to manage our own people's health.
Welcome back. It's time now for our photo of the day. William Fowler came upon this gem hidden away deep in the woods between Windfall and Shining Bank, Alberta. As we move from spring to summer, you better keep those great photos coming. You can email them to us at share@aptn.ca to be our chance, or your chance to be our next photo of the day. Let's take a look now at tomorrow's weather forecast. To the east coast, we got 15 with a chance of showers in St. John's, 20 in cloud for Halifax. Kuujjuaq, snow and 1 degree, mix of sun and cloud, and -1 for Nikshwak. Chibougamau, mix of sun and cloud, and 3 degrees. Saint Jovite, rain and 14. North Bay with a mix of sun and cloud and 11 degrees expected, 9 in sunshine for Sault Ste. Marie. 11 and sunny for Sioux Lookout and Thunder Bay and Sudbury as well. Puckatawagan, some chance of showers, 13 degrees, sunshine and 13 for the Paw. Sunny down south, 14 and sunshine for Gimli, 15 for Dauphin and Brandon. Sunny in southern Saskatchewan as well. Yorkton, 17, Regina, 16, same with Estevan. 20 in sunshine for Buffalo Narrows. Showers expected for Stony Rapids and 17 degrees there. Rain expected for Peace River, 15 degrees. Fort McMurray, showers and 21. Sunny in southern Alberta, though, 22 for Edmonton, 23 for Medicine Hat. 19 in chance of showers for Kamloops, Penticton, 16 and cloud. Prince Rupert, 14 and sunny. Chance of showers for Smithers, 14 degrees there. 11 degrees and cloud for Dawson City. Old Crow, chance of snow and 2 degrees. Norman Wells, 14 and showers. Wati, cloudy, 13. Mix of sun and cloud for Fort McPherson and 3 degrees. Colville Lake, snow and 5. Chesterfield, 0, sunshine. New Yacht, -1 with mix of sun and cloud. Kenate, 0, mostly sunny. Pangertung, chance of flurries and 1 degree. Well, today was the In Focus season finale, and with spring finally here, wedding season has begun, even for those forced under COVID restrictions. Well, In Focus had everything from wedding dresses to jewelry to moccasins and, of course, beautiful brides. Here's a peek.
So when COVID came, obviously that wasn't going to happen. So we had kind of pared it way down to about 25 people and have a little feast after. And then the week before our wedding on that Tuesday, Alberta had even harsher restrictions, and so we were down to 10 people. So it was a much different wedding than we had originally planned, for sure.
Way smaller.
Well, yeah, way smaller.
It wouldn't be wedding talk without talking about your dress and jewelries. Can you tell us about what you were wearing on that day?
Yeah, for sure. I'm actually wearing my wedding earrings right now. So I got earrings and medallions and necklaces made for me, my husband, my parents, and our bridal party. And so they're made by Kita Luchel. They're a disabled, queer powwow regalia maker in Calgary, and they go by Kiwewin Beads on Instagram and Facebook. But yeah, they did an amazing job. They took some of my Chapman's old beadwork designs, integrated those, just like did an amazing job at kind of looking at our family designs and making beautiful jewelry. And then our rings were actually from Sapling and Flint. And they're a twin sister operation out of Six Nations, and one of them's a silversmith.
Yes.
And she made incredible rings.
Flash
that
them.
look like
we want to see the hardware there.
Oh yeah, can you get into that?
Give them as gifts to their, and they're like, oh my god, my feet were so comfy all day, because I don't know if you've ever been in a wedding where
I have been in heels. So many weddings, you have no idea. As a bridesmaid, as a bride, as a groomsman, I've been in all of the weddings.
So our feet get tired.
It was a great show. You can find it online at aptnnews.ca. Well, we're going to go back to the story that we thought we had for you before. A drive-in theater on an Alberta First Nation has caused some conflict regarding COVID-19 because Alberta Health Services tried to shut them down after weeks of operation. But the nation says that they're staying open. And the question, of course, is asked, do public health services have jurisdiction over Indigenous land when it comes to COVID protocols? Here's the story by Tamara Pimentel.
On a cold, rainy day, a drive-in movie seems like a safe enough event during a pandemic. This one, held on the Tsuut'ina Nation right next to Calgary, has a drive-up food truck and strict rules put in place. No one can leave their vehicles except to use the washroom. So last week, when Alberta Health Services said this drive-in didn't follow COVID-19 protocols, Chief Roy Whitney said the shows will play regardless.
We've been through this before, the pandemics within our communities, and we know best to manage our own people's health. We are elected here. We are an order of government.
Alberta Health Services has since changed that rule, and the drive-in is now allowed. In an email to APTN, Indigenous Services Canada said First Nations in Alberta are required to follow COVID-19 restrictions as determined by Alberta Health. Nations can, in some cases have, implemented public health measures that have exceeded the provincial recommendations. But Chief Whitney says in the future, the First Nation is educated enough to make its own decisions. Tsuut'ina has its own health professionals hired with Nation funds. And while the community will take advice and work with AHS, it has its own health act and protocols put in place, such as a curfew.
It allows Chief of Council to make choices that are safe choices, who we know best. So our health experts informed us that we were able to continue with the drive-in theater.
Since the drive-in is open to the public, it'll bring in extra funds. It's also being used for concerts and will hold graduations over the summer. Tamara Pimentel, APTN National News on the Tsuut'ina Nation.
Tom Charles, a well-known tracker from Lac La Ronge, Saskatchewan, has passed away. Charles was also a host on the APTN series The Other Side, which airs in 11 countries. Charles' role on that show, of course, was of spirit guide for paranormal investigations. Charles passed away yesterday after a difficult battle with lung cancer. He'll be remembered by many in his community as a tracker who had participated on many search and rescues in the north. His co-star on The Other Side series, Jeff Richards, says he will always have fond memories of Tom and thought of him not only as a co-host, but as a mentor and as a dear friend.
He was always willing to impart knowledge about everything from his time spent tracking and finding, people in the wilderness to artwork. He was an accomplished artist. He worked in film and TV on a number of other productions outside of our show.
That's your news. I'm Melissa Regina. Have a great night.